Well, here we are.
Here we are. Get in the van. This is the proverbial film crew sprinter van where all the deepest conversations happen.
The gear's all loaded up. We're in the van. We're ready to pull off, and you're taking your last picture. And I pull open the door and I say, Darren, enough. Get in the van.
Get in the van.
Yeah.
So our editor, Michael Tan, asked a good question. He saw one of our Emmy Awards and said, do awards matter? People earlier in their career might be wondering, that's cool. I want to win an award, but does it actually move the needle on getting you work or getting you a job or,
Right.
Yeah.
I love this question because I feel like we work in an industry where it's grueling. You're putting a ton of time and a lot of effort into your craft and your projects, and sometimes without any monetary, receipt, I guess.
Or maybe not a lot.
Or not a lot. And so awards suddenly become one potential way that maybe you can feel good about the thing that you create or test it against other people. And but on the other side of it, if you don't win awards or you go up and you don't win the big thing, it can be devastating. It can be really crushing, especially if you really love this project. So yeah, do they matter? I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think we've had the fortunate experience of winning a few awards? Have you ever won an award and had it lead to greatness?
Well, what does greatness mean?
What do you think what greatness means?
I think awards are, they're definitely not the most important thing.
No.
They are, I think they can change, the meaning of awards can change throughout your career. There's a lot of different contests.
Yeah.
You have everything from the Oscars to regional contests and things like that. Depending on, if you're a journalist, award might mean something different than if you own a production company.
Yeah.
Or if you're a commercial director. So it's a really big, hard, loaded question.
Yeah.
And I think that, the benefits of awards that I've, realized over the years is they're great networking opportunities.
Yep.
Whether you win or not. You can go if you aren't nominated, or if you are nominated and you get to meet a lot of people. I think it's very similar to like film festivals. Like, if it gets selected, then you have every right to be there and talk to everybody in that room.
Yeah.
And so I think it's worth entering them. I just, I don't think they should be a major focus of one's career. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think early on, especially when you're starting out as a young filmmaker, as a young business owner, as a young production company, whatever, those awards are a way to kind of really make leapfrog ahead and build trust and credibility, and maybe you're able to leverage that from a marketing perspective that helps you win more work. Or if you're a new filmmaker, you're able to say, hey, look, I've won this, fund my next film. And I think early on it's a lot. I think as you age, I think or at least maybe where I am right now in my career, I am trying to enjoy the process a little bit more than I am the outcome, and not really worry too much about whether or not something's going to win an award, and certainly not hang my hat if it does or doesn't. So yeah, I think early on it is really important because it does kind of help get your name out. It does help to build that credibility and that trust with potential funders, potential clients, what have you. But ultimately, I think it's a real, I think over the course of time, it's a real dangerous game to play if you're finding value in yourself and your work just through awards.
Right. You can't get external validation.
No.
Like that. You have to do the work for you and appreciate what you do and love what you do and love the process. I think that sometimes people get way too caught up in these things, and ultimately, like we were talking about Free Solo and how it won the Oscar. I mean, Jimmy Chin made many films before that, before he won that Oscar, and you don't see. He's just. I think he enjoys what he does, and ultimately that might lead to these things and enjoying getting better at the craft. And you'll find a way to be in those conversations and in those circles if you're enjoying what you're doing and getting better at it. When you're younger and you're getting started, you feel this drive to like prove yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was younger, one thing that I liked was, I think there's different kinds of awards. There's like prestige awards, which, who knows if you get it or if you're not. They're like the Ivy Leagues, hard to win. Those are great. If you can get those, awesome. I mean, those will get you phone calls for sure. There's networking awards. Like every year, our company enters the Addys Awards locally in Baltimore.
Yep.
And we get to hang out once a year with everybody in our industry, and it's a lot of fun, and you get to see your friends. And then there's like learning awards, right? Like where you grow and you learn. Like when we first started in TV news, we did the NPPA quarterly clip contest.
Yep.
And that, I don't know about you, I took a lot away from those because what that was like, we were TV news and we would compete with other TV stations, and every quarter there would be a quarterly clip contest with different categories, and you would see the names that popped up regularly and follow their work and learn from them.
Yep. It begs a question, do you think that awards actually show excellence in craft, or do you think that they are industry politics?
Oh, that's a good one, Dave. I think that they can be a little bit of both, but I wouldn't let the politics weigh you down or distract you from the point of awards. If you're regularly nominated for things, you're getting a lot of the same impact that you would if you win some of these things. And also, I think if you're too worried about the politics, you're kind of missing the point. It's like all awards are very subjective. All of them are, it's a body of people, and some years they all go for this type of thing, and some years they all go for this type of thing, and you never know. And sometimes the thing that wins, no one thinks should have won, but it's a game of averages. So if you're always doing good work and always getting better, you'll be in there at one point or another, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking while you were talking about, because I remember early in my career, at like the Emmy Awards or others, and being nervous and being really like tied to the outcome of the announcement they're about to make on stage on whether or not a piece of my work won. And I think ultimately, if you have created something that is emotionally impactful and you've put your heart into a piece, it's almost like emptying the tank a little bit. And I think at that point, if you're like, I did everything I could, then the award shouldn't really matter to your self-worth. It can potentially do some things for marketing. It could potentially help you continue to push the film or push your craft forward. But like your self-worth should already be established in the work itself, regardless of whether or not someone looks at it and says, I really like that piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's all about relationships at the end of the day.
Right.
Like if you are a freelancer or own a production company and you're regularly doing good work and you're good to work with, you establish regular clients who trust you.
Yeah.
And I think it's like an icing on the cake for most situations, like you have in your sales pitch deck, when you first pitch a client, you've got a few awards listed on there, and it's kind of like okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever changed? Has going for an award or the thought of like an award while you're working ever changed the way you do your filmmaking or the way you work, or has it ever crossed your mind in the middle of the process?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Like in the NPPA years, you kind of knew what would work, you know, after doing it for a long period of time. You knew what people looked for, what they would, so you'd make certain decisions that sometimes are based in what you feel like is going to do well.
Yeah.
So it was more conscious when I was younger. Now we just try to make the best thing we can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I think when big moments happen, you know, like there's a lot that goes through your brain. I can remember when we did Raw, calling you, we filmed out on his streets. We took him to his old neighborhood and we met we're there and he's taking us around. He's like, oh my gosh, this is where there's the water fountain moment. There's when he's at his old place that he lives in. While he's there, some neighbors come up and they're like, we heard you talking about so-and-so. And he's like, yeah, did you know this person? And they're like, yeah. And they start in real time. You're like watching them connect dots. And then all of a sudden they're like, he's like, that's my mom. I lived here. And he's like, oh my gosh. And they're like, we remember in that moment, you know, all these things are happening where it's like, you're thinking this is crazy and we've got to build a scene around it. But then as the dust kind of settles on the back end, your brain kind of goes, oh, that's something that's definitely got to make the edit. And like, what might happen if it gets in there? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that a kind of a separate way to view it is like, you know, when you've got it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you got the goods.
Yeah.
Like, I think what's so hard about documentary filmmaking is like, you can set yourself up to be there for moments, but you can't make them happen.
Yeah.
And the moments are what make, like, you know, that you have something special that is maybe award worthy when something happens in front of your camera that you didn't expect or just felt so organic and natural. And that was definitely one of those moments you called and you were so happy.
Yeah.
That, you know, and that's what you build the film to, the narrative around, and you build, and you make sure you set that up so it's as powerful as possible. Yeah. And
I mean, let me ask you this: if somebody's sitting at home thinking to themselves, you know, should I enter awards? Or better yet, they've been entering awards and they haven't been winning. Should they quit? Should they stop submitting? Should they walk away from doing?
I don't think so. I think that I mean, it depends on what position you are in the film video world, and it depends on a lot of things, but I don't think you should quit. I remember years ago when we were up for Emmys, and I knew a person who their name was called, but it was by mistake. And this person wanted an Emmy so bad, more than anyone I ever met. Oof. And it was the worst person for this to happen to. Yeah. And they wrote off the Emmys and awards forever. Oof. Like, this is, and I can understand the pain of that, you know, because when you're there, you're swept up in it. Yeah. You want it so bad. Yeah. But I think writing it off forever is silly. I think, like, if you really love this job and what we do, it's just about getting better and trying again and whatever. And I mean, journalism, you know, half of our career has been journalism and half has been video production. So what would you say the key differences are from winning awards in journalism, which it does seem to mean something different than doing it now as a video production company owner and documentary director?
Well, I mean, the number one thing is just how personal it is. Like, as a company, everything that we do, every award that we win, even when it's like, even if we won an award for directing, like Haki won like best direction at like the Toronto Film Festival, I don't internalize that as me. I am like, we're very much a team sport now. You know what I mean? Like, the wide receiver doesn't take them all the way to the Super Bowl. The team does. In journalism, you know, man, that was a grind. Every day was just, you could be getting the best stories or just the absolute worst. And it was crazy. And in some ways, I think those awards meant more. I was also very young in my career. They meant more very to me because on like an individual level, I almost needed some of that on like the really hard days where you're like, I'm not doing I'm not doing, God's work right now. This is just like I'm trying to get through the day. You kind of need those good stories. You need those awards to help show that, like, hey, what I'm doing matters to me, and I'm elevating my craft, and I'm pushing forward. But now it's almost like I don't necessarily feel like I crave the awards as much. I do love that, we have really talented employees and really talented team members and freelancers that we work with. And when we can win something as a group and they get excited about it, I feel almost more for them than I do for myself. And that's the big difference, is like, I feel like if I can be like, hey, like, look, this thing that you helped us create won something and you're a part of that it almost means more in some ways. But I'm not so emotionally tied to it. Like,
right. Journalism seemed to have this move the needle more for your career, than what we do now. Although, I mean, we've never won an Oscar, so that might move the needle.
Maybe.
But I would say, in journalism, it felt like you would go to the Emmys or Edward R. Murrow Awards or whatever like that, and you had the opportunity to get called from a bigger market. News directors see you and editors see you, and they could say, hey, you work in Baltimore, you want to come up to the New York Times or whatever. Right. There seemed to be more networking, and like awards seem to matter more in that regard. Yeah. Whereas like for us, it doesn't like change our day to day, and it doesn't lead to more work necessarily. I mean, really at all. I don't know if it leads to work at all.
I don't think I can say pretty definitively I've never won an award that has led to more work. I think not directly. No one's ever called up and said, hey, like,
I can say one. Well, there's a couple.
Yeah.
The Vimeo staff pick for Throw.
Yeah, that's true.
We got called from the LA production company to like direct commercial, and that led to a few other things.
That's true.
So there's a few out there that I think can move the needle, but like I would say 99% of it, no.
No. And but it doesn't mean that they're not valuable. It doesn't mean that you can't take pride if you do win something. And I certainly don't want it to sound that people shouldn't enter awards. I think they should. It's just, I think 99%, it's kind of like, it's just an opportunity to maybe celebrate what you've done in a way that gives you some closure to the project. And it's a litmus test against how it stacks up maybe against other people. But, you shouldn't measure your whole self-worth against it.
And there is a great opportunity to learn.
100%.
Like, you see what's out there, and you see who's doing what and who's kind of pushing the envelope and pushing the bar of the industry forward. So I think that's a great reason to learn and try to get in the room.
Agreed. So, for all you guys out there, if you're thinking of submit. Do it, and drop in the comments below, your thoughts. Are awards worth it?
Now get out of the van.
Get the hell out.
Uh-oh, what was that? I don't know, but let's get out of here.